haven't already, check out part 1 before you go into this video. We go outline the whole process on rotations in detail, what you need to do to stand out in rotations. Take a look at that video, enjoy this one.
So now a bit like the next kind of major part of like the CV building is like research.
Right.
So what, like just for someone who has no idea anything, like where do I start?
So CV is one thing that's like really, I think it's hard to build because so how the medical education system is set up in India is you're basically going into med school like straight out of high school. Once you're done with your 12th grade, you take this national entrance exam, and based on the rank that you secure in that exam, you'll be assigned, or you can actually choose the med school that you want to go to. And there's no application, there's no holistic review, so it's like really difficult to build CV. But I'd say, if you're passionate about something, maybe look for volunteering opportunities, like do volunteering in your free time. And that is as far as volunteering is concerned. But I think you can't be, like extraordinary because the system doesn't just permit that. Because because like once you're in med school, you need to spend a lot of time with, like everything is new, everything is like so different. So yeah, volunteering is one thing that I can suggest, and research is one more thing. So since now like everyone's changing and they're focusing more emphasis on research, I think one thing you can do is you can actually reach out to your professors right from the beginning of med school, and you can ask them to, like hop in on projects, help them out, and so that you get a basic idea of how research works. And then you can actually reading journals and keeping in touch, keeping up to date with the new medical information would be one other thing to do, because then you actually will find something that you're truly passionate about.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can reach out to your professor who's working in that department, and then you can reach out to him and see if there's a project on similar lines that you can do.
Yeah.
So that would be one thing to do. And also you can also reach out to the professors in the US. There are like really good universities like Johns Hopkins, and actually Johns Hopkins has a remote research program and they have affiliation agreements with like a couple of medical colleges even in India. So that's one other good thing that you can do if you're like really interested.
Of course, yeah. And I mean, I think one thing about it is like there are different types of like this research, case reports, letter editor. So do all of those help, or like do we have to get this, or?
Yeah, everything helps because so they're actually looking for physician leaders who can take medicine into the next era. So you should know how to do research to do that.
Yeah.
So I think as a med student, case reports are the easiest thing to get your hands on. And that way you can actually practice, like writing a manuscript and communicating your thoughts to the medical community.
Yeah.
So everything counts, especially since you're a student.
Of course. Yeah.
Because not everyone can get their hands on like multi-center, like clinical trials and stuff. Yeah. So everything, everything that you do towards progressing the medical field is helpful.
Okay. And then kind of the journals that we publish these, do they matter a lot? Because I know there's a lot of paid journals.
Right.
You pay money, get it published. So
yeah, I think you should target submitting your research to an authentic journal because the impact factor matters. And if the project that you do is actually good, that will get published, because I know people like close friends of mine who actually did a research here, and that got published in American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's like cross country.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Okay. So for those who don't know that much about research, you said impact factor of a journal. Like what exactly is the impact factor?
So the impact factor is something which kind of shows you the value of the journal. It kind of comes from the years of stuff that they've already published and how much of an impact that kind of made for medicine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think if I remember correctly, you are working on a research paper in the US.
I did. I did. So I am interested in like quality improvement because coming from India, I know how important it is to maximize outcomes with the limited amount of resources that we have. So quality improvement is one way to do that because we end up saving resources and we end up coming with new cost efficient ways to do stuff. And I think even the patients will benefit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the project that I did at Cornell was how can we reduce the incidence of postpartum hemorrhage
Okay.
in people that are actually classified as moderate or high risk by giving them dual prophylaxis. So we all know that oxytocin is standard. So we were kind of trying to see if there's an advantage by giving misoprostol.
Okay.
So why I like the project is because of the simple fact that misoprostol is just a tablet. We don't really need any resources to administer that. So that would be something like really helpful for the people back home if it's found that it actually makes a difference.
Of course. And then, so how did you approach getting this product? Like, I know not everyone gets it. So how did you manage to get that?
So when I was doing my rotation, my professor was like really enthusiastic in, like teaching me. He was like very big on teaching. So I kind of approached him and I told him, like I'm really interested in research, but I haven't really gotten an opportunity so far. So if there's anything that I could help you with, I'd be, like happy to do. So then he kind of, I guess, trusted me, I guess. And then he gave me the project, he asked me to do the chart review and to see if the data is correct.
Okay.
Because it was all computer software and it was like a data pool. So when we were doing that, there were mistakes. So when the data was pulled, there was mistakes because the anesthesiologist, he was entering the blood loss separately and the floor nurses are entering that separately. So the software kind of like clubbed both of them together and kind of showed the double amount. So that was one thing I did. And then we were kind of participating in like weekly meetings and I was kind of helping them, arrive at the primary and the secondary outcome measures because I was like directly handling the data. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. No, I mean, I think that's a crazy opportunity.
It was really nice. It was a big retrospective cohort study with over 4,500 patients enrolled. It was really nice. Yeah.
That's an excellent opportunity. And I mean,
yeah.
Okay, so you just kind of, we have to, once we stand out in rotations, we can just
ask them out.
Yeah.
So it's like, so in America, rule number 1 is always ask. Yeah, always ask.
Okay. Oh, that's great. So yeah, actually I was going to ask you that next. Like, is it okay to ask? What are the limitations? What is too pushy? What is asking for a letter of recommendation as well?
Right.
Is it okay to ask them for a letter of rec? Or like, should we be a bit hesitant? You know what I'm saying?
I think a good way to approach professors for letters is, so like maybe 2 weeks into your rotation, you should go to them and ask for feedback, like regardless, like if you're planning on asking them for a letter or not, you should ask them for feedback because that's the only way you get to know how you can improve and the areas that you're kind of like lagging in. So yeah, you should ask them for feedback and then you should probably let them know that if you're intending to ask them for a letter of recommendation, because that kind of leaves them 2 more weeks to actually assess you.
Okay.
Because, like how clinically packed the schedules are.
Yeah.
Usually they don't really get enough time to actually assess students.
Okay.
Especially in the surgical departments where everything is like so packed and they're like so busy all the time because they also have to do the administrative stuff after they're done with the clinical stuff.
Okay.
So it's not like they're free after they're done with surgeries. They still have like meetings to attend to. They have the research going on. So there's like a lot of things. So I think, that would be a good way to approach for letters because like 2 weeks into the rotation, if you ask them for feedback and you let them know that you're actually intending to get a letter of recommendation from them, they will actually suggest you, the ways that you can improve. And, if they want you to work more closely together, they'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, oh, that's great. Actually, I didn't even think of that letter. So, how many letters do we need? Like, is there any hard set number or?
So you can get as many letters as you want,
Uh-huh.
but then I think the maximum amount of letters that you can assign to a program is like 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
and those should be from different rotations, or can they be like multiple professors within one? This.
I mean, if you're fortunate enough to have like 3 or 4 months of clinical rotations, it would be a wise thing to definitely assign one letter each from one of the clinical rotations that you did, because that kind of shows, I guess, consistency.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
that you were consistent across all these rotations.
Okay.
It was not like a chance occurrence that you were performing good in one rotation. Exactly. But then if you were not able to get your hands on those many rotations, it would definitely be a good thing to upload 2 letters from the same rotation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then letter of recommendations from your home country, like India and ours, the case. Are those useful or?
Right. It is. So some of the programs have requirements that you actually do submit a letter from your home country.
Mhm.
So if they have that requirement, it would be a good thing, or it would be an ideal thing to get that letter from the department chair.
Okay.
Because that definitely adds value to your CV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then kind of like one of the last things about the CV building thing, certificates. Like
Right.
I know in India that's a big thing. They
Uh-huh.
offer a lot of money for certificates, paid certificates. Do those actually matter in the process?
Right. So that's one interesting thing. The people in the US, they don't really care about the certificates.
Okay.
All they care about is the experience.
Mhm.
Because so during the interviews, when they talk to you about your journey,
Mhm.
they can assess you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like you can cheat your way out of
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
So basically, they'll talk to you. They'll actually see, how true you are. I
Okay.
guess. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So no cheating them here, guys.
Yeah. No, don't fall under the trap of paying money for certificates. Yeah.
Of course. Okay. All right. I think that's excellent. That kind of goes in detail about like the CV building, interrotation and stuff. Going a bit general now. If you were to go back and
Right.
change something about your whole USMLE journey, maybe med school, something, what would you do differently?
So I think I would choose my career path like really early in med school,
Okay.
so that I would have like saved maybe a year, I guess. Yeah, because I kind of like decided that I wanted to do USMLE kind of like late towards kind of late, like towards the end of my med school, and that kind of kind of wasted a year, I guess,
Okay.
for preparation, like finding all the resources, because we didn't really have like a lot of mentors, especially in our med school,
Yeah.
who kind of were there to guide us. So we had to do everything on our own, like finding these rotations and actually coming up with our own personal statements
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So yeah, so I the only thing that I would have done differently is choosing my career like early on in med school.
Mhm. Okay. All right. That's awesome. And now for us, like people like myself who are up and coming, gonna just start their USMLE journey, what advice would you give to us and all our viewers?
Right. I think the only thing that I can say is be consistent,
Mm.
be persistent, because a lot of the times you won't find success right with your first attempt.
Yeah.
You have to really work for it, and especially you're going to a different country and you're competing with the students who get trained in their medical education
Oh.
system. So it's like you're actually like swimming against the current.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So be committed to medicine, be persistent, and like always stay on top of your game. It's like just that's it.
Okay. So is there anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
Yes, no, I don't know. I mean, we can keep like talking hours and hours
Yeah.
about USMLE, and maybe we can like do like 100 different videos,
Yeah.
and still not like touch even the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's good for now, I guess.
That's excellent. Now,
Yeah.
that was a lot of information, guys. all the best with the match.
Thank you.
Hopefully,
so
we can
much.
shoot another video once he's matched into one of his dream universities.
Sure, I'd love to do that. Yeah.
No,
Also, all the best with your preparation
Thank you.
and your future endeavors.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, guys, it's a great honor to have him. Thank you for staying tuned. Watch this video. Watch the previous video also where we had a talk with Dr. Rishabh. He talked a bit more generally about the whole USMLE process. He also did excellent on step 2 and got some great rotations. Stay tuned. We're going to have more videos about topics like this. I'll catch you guys later.